All right, these are digital video notes for customer Farmer, Lowe's 2654. Let me give you a real quick tour of the kitchen. Basically, you've got a corner angle sink. This is only about 5 to 7% of the population that actually has a corner angle sink. But there's a couple things here that are unique that we need to for sure go over about the construction of that. Then over here, this is non-soffitted. The area above this is non-soffitted. Over here on this side is the air conditioning that's been in the soffit above. So this is not, of course, not removable. So we went ahead and measured the soffits. A couple things to look at right off the bat. The end of this soffit is not the length of those cabinets. That is 4 inches of margin, 4 inches. Make sure that when we're looking at replacing these cabinets, it's basically going to be like for like on these measurements, 30 inches wide. But one thing we did talk about, this is an unusual depth. This is 15 inches deep front to back on the soffit. So you've got room here to make these cabinets 13 inches deep or 14 inches deep without any problem at all. And that would really, make the storage area around this a lot better for this side of the kitchen. Now, the hood, if you look on top, is actually almost an inch or so flat area left there. So if you went to 13 inches deep, the hood wouldn't have to be blocked out from the wall or anything. But for sure, as far as extra storage, that extra inch of interior space would help a lot. Right now the microwave is on the counter here. I'll have measurements of the microwave for the design. I think they're actually wanting to put that in the cabinets behind me near the refrigerator, so that's going to be on a separate shelf. Basically, this is a newer double stove, 30-inch electric. That's a base 30 to the right. It's a base 30 to the left. Now, one thing to show you, these are standard overlay, not the hinges, but the actual width of the space here is standard overlay. And that allows you to have room to put a small molding up here at the top, okay? So when you go to design this, we would highly recommend a standard overlay cabinet, shaker door style, standard door styles, anything you want, not the cathedral. She is sick of the cathedral top shape. But making sure that you realize why, like right here, if we had a full overlay door design, you could not put this base cabinet that close because of the door trim. This drawer would not open and close correctly. So you would end up losing space because you would have to put like a base 27 and a 3-inch filler there to make that work in a full overlay. That's an excellent reason that this needs to be a standard overlay door style. But the other one is, of course, the measurements above that. Now come over here to this side of the room on the sink side. You've got cabinets that are a foot down from the ceiling. The ceiling is a stipple finish, but is not heavily stamped. It is just basically a light texture. So we could actually go up to the ceiling with the moldings on this, but we want to look at like maybe a 39-inch cabinet as our tallest cabinet, especially if we're looking at doing a standard overlay, 39 with a 3-inch riser on the top of it or a 3-inch starter strip on the top of it would give us the measurements we need for that to work. Again, if you wanted to do these cabinets at 13 inches depth, that will actually make this center bridge just slightly smaller, but it will bring that bridge forward. It would bring it toward the front of the sink. If you take a look, there's actually a light right above the top of this. This cabinet is about center line of that light. So if this comes forward a little bit from where it's at, that'll actually help with the repair in the ceiling, and the crown molding and everything would probably cover where that repair has to be done. Right now, one of the notes I have on here is that this space from the bottom of this valance to the ceiling is right at 33 inches. That's important because the customer has this open space now that they're using. When you start looking at the height at 33 inches, you don't want that to be much shorter than that because you'll end up having space there that you didn't have before as far as losing space to below that. To the right here, we've actually got base cabinetry and a drawer. To the left, we actually have our dishwasher. Now, the measurements I've given you on here are 31 3/8 inches frame. That is a measurement from the end of this panel through the dishwasher and in here to this corner. Of course, the dishwasher is 24 inches, so you're actually going to end up having a small panel to the left and a small panel to the right. Now, with this being a corner angle sink, there are 2 or 3 different ways that they make these sink angles. This way is actually what is considered a loose face frame. They call it a CFO, cabinet front only. And the reason is because if you look back here All of your plumbing is all the way back. It's literally in the corner of the room, okay? So this has to be a cabinet front only, which would be probably a CFO 24 with extended style left and extended style right for us to be able to build this to the 29 space and have plenty of room. It could probably be a 27 extended style left, extended style right of 3, and that way we could have it. But this panel right here, this panel has to be a dishwasher return panel. It has to have a support for the counter. It cannot be just a filler in your design. Same thing over here. We need this to be a dishwasher in panel, even if it's only 1.5 inches wide, because that is going to have to be the side of the cabinet. If you can look, there's actually the sides of the cabinet that are those adjacent panels, okay? Hopefully that makes sense to you. The front of this is a loose piece. The floor is a 4 foot by 4 foot loose piece. And we're going to need some 2x6s and 2x4s for framing to actually build a floor for that to sit on. This is an older way of doing it, but because of where the plumbing and stuff is, we cannot use a single sink base or a compartmentalized angle sink base. They're kind of a diamond shape. They will not work in this application because of where the plumbing's at underneath here. All right, so one other thing we talked about was the refrigerator space. Right now the refrigerator space is only about 35 inches wide because it's about a 34-inch refrigerator. But if you take a look right here, there's actually going to be baseboards and toe kicks and stuff, baseboards and quarter round stuff that's on the sides. So we have to make sure that we take some of this cabinet space, it's got to shorten some to have at least a 38-inch space to get a modern refrigerator fit in here. Remember, most refrigerators are exactly 36 inches wide and 69 to 72 inches tall. So we want to always leave a 72-inch space from the bottom of this cabinet to the floor. We always want to have at least 38 inches of space. Now the customer is wanting to have that upper cabinet pulled forward to give you that built-in tall cabinet look above it, and they have plenty of stuff to store there. You know, they have all the cereals and stuff like this that we would see typically stored in that cabinet. One other thing we talked about is this is a lean-in pantry, and because of the width of this room from that corner to this corner, we could gain a lot of space if we were to remove this wall and this front, but leave this wall. This wall actually has plumbing and some other stuff inside of it. The interior of this cabinet is just your typical shelving, you know, place there inside. But if you were to look at the space that you could add to the length of this, I showed her a few of the videos that we have online where people have removed their lean-in pantries to allow them to have another 3 feet or so of space in the kitchen run. It would make this kitchen so much more functional if that had that room there. We have one other area in the room. Turn around here behind me. Your doorway here, this corner. If they were to do new cabinets, they thought about building this into like a little coffee bar area here in the corner or some type of extra storage space. But when you look at this space here, if you were to gain that space where the lean-in pantry was in the run of these cabinets, you may not need that, and then you would have more room for your table in the middle of the room here. I believe that's pretty much it. The measurements are all on the drawings. If you have any questions for me, for sure, give me a call at 423-650-1051. Always remember, extra cut-to-length moldings, extra touch-up kit. Always have a 642 magic filler that we can use to fix things with. Always have restrictor clips so that we can restrict doors that touch walls. And then anything that you have questions about, always feel free to send me a floor plan and call me so we can discuss them prior to the design being sold. You guys have a good day.